Changing your fonts in Squarespace is actually a lot easier than it might seem. So basically with every Squarespace website, we get 4 fonts. Technically there's 5 if you count code, but that doesn't really, I mean, it's just a standard kind of code font. Really, you're not going to be using it. So technically there are 4 fonts: heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and then our body text or our normal font. So if we want to change these, there's a couple of different things that you can do. You can just simply scroll through your site to find all of the various fonts that you have and determine what type, like whether it's a heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. Or sometimes when you're first building a site, I like to go ahead and come in here to edit. I like to just create a text area with my clients so that we can write out heading 1, oops, heading 2, heading 3, and normal or body text. Then we're basically, this is just a kind of a standard HTML editor. So once you have them typed in here, I can go in and change this to heading 3, change this to the heading 2, change this to heading 1. And this kind of makes it a little bit easier for me to find when I want to edit them. So obviously I'm going to delete this block when I'm done. I don't want this on my website for everyone to see, but right now when I'm editing, it just kind of makes it a little bit easier to make sure that everything's cohesive. So once I have these in here, again, like I said, you can simply just scroll through your content area and find an area like, okay, this is a heading 1, okay, this is normal. Either way, once I have that in there, I go to Design in my left-hand admin panel. Then I go to Site Styles. Now in Site Styles, you will have just all sorts of different options. This can get a little bit overwhelming if you are not a designer or haven't built a few Squarespace sites. What I usually tell people, kind of a nice little trick, is rather than coming through here and trying to find what it is that you need, if you are in the Design Site Styles banner or area, all you have to do is come over here to the right in your working admin area and click on something that you want to edit, and it will automatically switch this panel over here on the left hand side to match what it is on the right hand side that you want to edit. So if I click on this, you will see that it automatically takes me to heading 1. So from this point, I can easily choose any font that I would like to. I can find out what font that is so that I can use it for other design purposes, maybe on marketing materials, etc. Or I could come in and just choose a completely different font style here. Then I can even change the weight. Now it depends on the font. Some fonts only have 1 or 2 options, some have several. I can also decide if I want the size to be larger, smaller, change the spacing in between my letters, change the spacing in between my lines, and this is also kind of a nice option. So there's a text transform. This is good to know about because sometimes, like for instance on this heading 3, I guarantee they already have it transformed to uppercase, and I may not want that. But if you want to you like that look and you want to make sure that all of anything you type in heading 3 is always going to just be automatically capitalized, then you might want to come into text transform and keep it on uppercase, or you may choose lowercase, etc. So keeping in mind that some of the fonts, like I just changed this one to lowercase, it actually is an uppercase font, so there is truly no such thing as lowercase. So something to keep in mind. After that, we can come down to the content colors and change your heading 1 color to any color you'd like. One thing that I find a lot is that people get frustrated because the font looks really light and they come in and say, but I've got it as far black as I possibly can, or far down in this corner, this is as black as it can get. This bar is actually your transparency bar. So when it's here, that means that yes, it's pure black, but it's also going to be the percentage transparency you'll see right here. So if I move that over to 100%, it will change it. I see that a lot with white, where it will automatically have it, maybe even just kind of right here in the corner where it's 98%, or they have the transparency down, and people get a little like, why, that doesn't feel quite bright white. So that might be something to look at. Otherwise, so obviously I don't want to keep this. I'm going to go ahead and cancel, and so I can put her fonts back the way that they were. But that's how easy it is to change your fonts. Keep in mind, it will change your fonts throughout the entire website, but you have as much freedom to change those as you'd like and completely customize your site. I believe there are like thousands and thousands of fonts available to you, so definitely take that into consideration.